Hi, I'm Will Munn, and you are watching the Adepticverse YouTube channel. If you're watching today, hopefully you're here to learn about how we're using Miro to make worlds together with your friends using our game Arium Create. Arium Create is a world building game, Any nominated, that has been used by thousands of people to make really fun and collaboratively built worlds together with your friends. In our book, we recommended a tool called Trello, which is also a great way to make an Arium. However, Trello is making some changes to their licensing structure and to how their tool works and things. And so I thought I would show you another tool that we've been using internally for a little while and a little bit about how to use it. If you've been following along on the channel much lately, you've probably already seen Miro, but I'm just going to take a little time to go through some of the details of things that I probably gloss over when I'm just using it really fast because I'm comfortable with it and I've been using it for a little while. I will say that there's a very, very short learning curve, I feel like, to get to at least competency doing very simple things, and also some pretty cool, like maybe a little more complicated things with Miro. But I'm going to show you just what you absolutely need to know in order to use it to play Arium. So let's get started. So here is a Miro board. And on this Miro board, I already have a template created to put together an Arium Create world together with your friends. We're going to keep this video really short. I'm not going to build a whole Arium with you here today. This is going to show some examples, but I will share a link to this template in the notes the description of this YouTube video, and also probably on our website and some other places you'll be able to find it if you need to. So and you can make a copy of it, use it with your own group if you want to. But first off, I want to talk about the free version of Miro, which is what I imagine a lot of people will probably use, and what's available in that. And then I'll spend a touch of time later on showing a couple of things you can do that are pretty cool if you subscribe and pay a little bit more for Miro. So let's get into the basics. So first off, we've got a big board here with a lot of different our elements of creating an Arium: Lacuni, Universal, Big Picture, Culture and Organizations, Landmarks, People, Goodies, and maybe a name. And then we have a lot of little digital sticky notes. So first off, one thing that you need to know about Miro is that you need to be able to navigate around. This is a whiteboard, and it's like a giant virtual whiteboard. You can, I think, if you're using a keyboard and mouse, you can hold Shift and then, or maybe hold down the right click button. It's one of those, and you can move it around like I'm doing here now. If you have a touchpad, just do two fingers, and you can move it in any direction that you want. You can zoom really, really, really far in if you want to, like really far in. You can even zoom farther than that in. If you make some small stuff, it'll allow you to zoom to a certain size on pretty much anything. So, and you can zoom also way, way, way out, so you can see everything that's on there if you want to, and move around and get closer to what you're currently working on. But we're going to work on this section up here. And so we've got these virtual sticky notes that I mentioned before. These are really handy. You can just select one and start typing, and something will come up onto there. You can, if you select it, you can also drag it around and move it wherever you want. That's very easy. If you find that you don't have enough sticky notes, you could grab one and you can copy that sticky note, and then you could just start pasting it and making more of them. You can do this with ones that are already written on, and then they will duplicate whatever was written on them. Or you can grab a whole stack of them and do the same thing. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut for that right now on a Windows machine. That's Control-C or Command-C on Mac. And then I unselect, and then I'll do Control-V or Command-V on a Mac to paste. And then you have all the sticky notes you could ever want. Well, maybe not quite that many. Can you ever really have too many sticky notes? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. All right. So the other thing that you can do if that's not suiting your fancy, right, is you can come into the templates tool here. In the templates tool, you can go to building blocks. I already had it selected, but go to building blocks and there's just all manner of sticky note templates. I'm going to grab this one right here. And look, I have even more sticky notes. But you know what? I don't like the color of all of them. So I'm going to change the color of these ones to that. There. So pretty easy to just select a group of them. Select this group down here. You know what? I want some more yellow. So I will choose the yellow one. I'm going to click it. And then it just changes the color of them to whatever you want. So pretty easy to sort of like do big group editing of things if you want to on here by dragging a box around some stuff, selecting it, and then doing what you want to those things. So now that we have kind of sticky note basics, let's go ahead and use a couple. So I'm going to bring one in here. I'm going to make a Lacuni. Lacuni in Arium Create is a thing that doesn't belong in the world that you're creating. It canonically either doesn't exist or it doesn't get mentioned or talked about. There's a couple ways that we handle that in the game. I won't get into all that. I'm just going to put an idea here. I'm going to say, you know what? I don't want truffles to exist in my world that I am creating because no fungi, my friends, no fungi. Actually, I really like mushrooms, but anyway, that's okay. So no truffles. And yeah, and so say, you know, one of my friends comes in here and they say, well, I don't want dandelions. Oh, I can't type. Dandelions. I don't want dandelions. And then maybe another friend says, well, I don't want mushrooms. And maybe another friend says, I don't want fungi. So the nice thing that Miro enables us to do that Trello was actually not super great at is group things together that make sense together, right? So in Trello, what we would do is we would often take the title of a card that we made and we would say, hey, we're combining two things, so I'll edit this title to have both of those things in it, and then I will delete the other card. But in Miro, it's pretty nice because just like you know, if you're in person and you've got a bunch of sticky notes, you just kind of group those ones together. You know, truffles, mushroom, fungi, same family. We're just going to avoid all fungi. So I'm just going to put those together. And I could even, if I wanted to, I could move this fungi one to the front and put it like over the top of the other ones and kind of group that really closely together like that if I wanted to. So that's something we can do. Very easy to do in Miro and very it really works for how we want the game to work because you're collaborating together. You're often combining things that you want to be together because you think they're cool together, and it allows you to like go straight through those activities really quickly without stopping to do extra typing or you know, clicks to delete a card or anything like that. So that's very nice. So now that we've got our couple of items here, we don't traditionally vote on Lacuni, but I want to show how voting can work. And I'll show some other things too, but in terms of voting, so I'm gonna select this and then I can put a reaction emoji on it. I'm gonna say, for me, I want my reaction emoji to be, you know, the wow, why didn't that work? Oh, there it is. I got to zoom in far enough. The nerd emoji, right? So, or the guy with glasses, whatever, he's got teeth. That's me. Say glasses. Anyway. So, or, you know, somebody else in the group could say, well, I want to put a different reaction. You know, for me, I'm the cool guy with the sunglasses, right? So you can put those on, right? You can put any emoji that you want. That's one way you could do it. Another way you could do it is you could go and you could get stickers, I believe. From here, you could go to the sticker list and you could drag stuff like onto, hey, that's mine. I could do the check marks, right? Those ones there, or the, you know, there's all kinds of other garbage in here too. But anyway, you can do whatever you want. So there are several ways that you can vote like that using kind of the free tools that are available in Miro. And that is very nice as well. So that's kind of it. So you'd go through, you'd apply your votes, you'd see how many people voted for each thing, and then you say, yes, this is in, right? Or this is where we drew the line, and these are the things that didn't get enough votes to be in. Again, not something we normally do with Lacuni, but I'm just showing an example here. So just remove those. The other thing that you'd need to know if you are going to use Miro for your games is everyone who joins and wants to edit the board will have to have a Miro account. There's a couple ways to do that. One is just to sign up with an email like you normally would for something, which can take like a minute or so, right? If you want it to go a little faster and people already have Google accounts or whatever, they can do the quick login with Google. But either way, it doesn't take too long. I recommend, if you're going to have a group build a world with Arium create in Miro, just let them know in advance, right? And they can get their account set up. It shouldn't take more than a minute or two. And then they can come join when you're ready. So you're ready to share. You've got your template. You have a group. Everybody's ready to play. You go on your Discord, or you go on email, or if you're old-fashioned, like maybe you write a link on. No, why would you ever write down a link and mail it to someone? Don't do that. Anyway, so you come to your share button up here, right? And this is important. So you come to your share button and you can copy this guest link. You want to make sure that your guests will have the ability to edit the board. That's important because if they don't, then they won't be able to write their own ideas or vote on them or anything like that. I mean, there's some other options here, right? But you definitely want them to be able to edit. So you copy this guest link, then you can share that with people, and they can access it whenever they want from then on. If they're using the Miro app that you can download on, frankly, on pretty much every platform imaginable, they can keep it open in a tab in the Miro app. And then when they close the Miro app and reopen it, the tab will still be there. And so they always have their Arium that they created there, and they'll have access to it as long as you keep them having access to it. Or if they lose the link or they're using the website, you can always just copy the board link here and send them a link to it again. If you send them the guest link again, I've found that can create some confusion because if they're logged out already, it'll take them to a place where Miro will just try and sign them up again, even if they already have an account. So no, don't do that. Yeah, just copy the board link if you need to resend a link to somebody. And that is most of it. Well, okay, so here's the other thing. I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to make a view link only for a copy of this Arium create template. And I am going to share it in the description of this YouTube video. I'll probably also put it on our website, the adepticarus.com website, and some other places. Maybe our Discord, so that people can grab the template and use it. And once you come to the view only version, right, then you'll see it, it'll say Arium create on Miro, and then you can click the title up here and just duplicate it. Just make a copy for yourself, right? Click that, make a new name. Don't share it with me because I don't need your Arium, right? You make your own cool stuff and keep it for you, and just click copy, and that's it. And then you'll have a copy of it that you can share with whoever you want to. Yeah, that's the free version. Now, if you have more money than maybe you should, or are willing to spend some money on something that you really like, I'll show you a couple of extra tools that are cool. And I pay for the $16 a month version of Miro because it gives me a couple of things. It lets me create unlimited boards and share them with as many people as I like. The free version is only going to allow you to create 3 boards. They'll give you a free trial of like a better version or whatever, and you can make more, but they'll start to they will make it so that you can no longer edit or access older boards that you made, and so whatever the newest 3 you've made is the ones that you have access to. So something to keep in mind. But because the thing sort of infinitely scrolls or whatever, you could just say, hey, I'm going to make a copy of all of this garbage, right? Make a copy of it. I'll put it over here. I'm going to invite the same group, or maybe I'll add a few more guests, and we're going to make another one right here. And you could just, I mean, if I scroll out far enough, you could see that I could just basically do that infinitely, right? I could make as many Ariums on this one board as I want. It's really pretty versatile that way. And even I could go the other direction and zoom way in and make, oh no, I can't do that. Never mind. Well, I could shrink it down. Yeah. So if I really wanted to, I could shrink it down really small. But then look, I can still zoom into it all the way, or pretty close. I guess I found the limit. Anyway, so, but you can fit a lot of those things on the screen if you wanted to. So that's one thing. So now on from the free version. So in the paid version, a couple of cool things. The first one is a timer. So you can set a timer to any, time that you want. I'm going to set one for 1 second just so that it can go off. And it does, like you can make it play music while you could probably plug in the Jeopardy theme or something, but don't do that. You push play. It gives a little toast like this in the corner of the screen when it's done, but it also gives a chime that everybody who's on the board can hear as long as they have their headphones on. And I assume that if you're doing this, you're not doing this in person. Everybody's probably on Discord or Zoom or something like that. So they're probably, talking to each other already. So you can all hear the chime when the timer ends, and that's really nice for Arium because in Arium you're doing timed ideating, right? You're writing down a bunch of ideas as quickly as you can, and then you're talking about them, collaborating on them, grouping them together, right? And then you're going to do voting. And so when you do voting with the built-in tool, there's a built-in tool for that too, if you have the paid version, and the free trial will show you this if you want to try it and see if it works for you. So I'm going to open the voting, and it gives you this voting area that you can sort of constrain to wherever you want, right? You can make it, you can zoom out and make it a lot bigger if you wanted to as well. But the other thing you can do is you can select the things you want to be able to vote. So everything with a blue dot is something that can be voted for. So if we just want to vote for these 2 things, then I can just select those 2. And then I can say how many votes I want everybody to have. We'll just let them have 1. Give 1 minute to vote. And this is a timed thing as well. You can do a lot more time or whatever. You can also end it early. So don't be too focused on how long the time for the voting is if it's an issue. It shouldn't be. You can also constrain it and say, hey, I only want people to do 1 vote per item. So say if I had 4 votes, and I didn't want them to put 4 on this one or 4 on this one or 2 and 2, just to be able to do 2. I mean, this is a bad example. Anyway, you can make it so they can only vote 1 object per item or 1 vote per object. So, and then I'll start the voting. When I start it, everyone will get this dialog that will ask them to join voting. So they can join, right? And then once they're in, then they get this other view of the items here that shows the little plus symbol. So I'm going to say, yeah, definitely fungi, great. No, you know what? Dandelions. I changed my mind, right? And the person who's the creator of the board and started the voting gets this little dialog here. So it'll tell you how much time's left. It'll tell you if everyone's voted yet or not. When they've all voted and it goes green, you can just end. So you don't have to wait until the time ends. You can just end the session, and then it will tell you the results, which we know Dandelions got 1 vote. So that's one of the cool things about the paid version One other thing I'd like to show just for fun is there are a lot of things in more apps here that's only available in the paid version, I think, and one of them is this randomizer app, which I went digging to find, which is kind of cool. Lets you do things like roll a d6 on the screen, and it lets you, if you have a bunch of cards, and I'll use sticky notes in place of cards, but I'm going to highlight all of these and I'm going to shuffle them. So it puts them in a different order. So there's a different one on top, or I can draw one and it'll pull one of them out randomly and put it outside. Does it again. So kind of a cool thing. We've been using this a little bit for some of our Vi playtests because we have a custom tarot deck that we use for that game. And when we're doing online games, this is pretty simple and really easy to use, honestly. So kind of cool. But there's a lot of other things you can do with Miro. I'm not here to tell you everything you can do with Miro. I think that would be a much longer video. But this is the short version. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel so that I know that you enjoy this kind of content. I'll do more content like this if people like it. I'm probably not going to do a ton of content like this, but if it makes sense and it's helpful, do let me know and maybe we'll do a little more. And if you haven't tried it out, check out Arium Create. It's available for sale on DriveThruRPG and also on the AdeptIcarus.com website. I think that's it. I think that's all. Thanks everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the flip side.